Hello and welcome back to my tutorial about large-scale React applications. This episode will be a little different. We are moving from the code to people. How to scale your organization, collaboration, and your processes as your React projects keep getting bigger. Your codebase can be healthy, but your teams still may struggle with code reviews, unclear ownership, onboarding, and cross-team projects. So in this episode, we will talk about the practices for team structures, knowledge sharing, microfrontends, code ownership, and effective workflows. Everything you need for your engineering stay fast, focused, and fun to work in. So let's get started. Scaling React up is not just about the right libraries and architecture. It's about how your teams work together. Because as you add more engineers to your projects, communication complexity quickly becomes your main bottleneck. So, smart organizational patterns help you to avoid merge conflicts, code silos, and hero culture, letting your teams move faster and enjoy what they're doing. Of course, there is no one-size-fits-all, but the most common and most successful model is domain-driven or feature-based teams. With domain-driven approach, you split your organization by business domains. For example, account, analytics, checkout, and etc. And each team owns everything from UI to the backend and infrastructure in their area. It creates the sense of ownership and helps to reduce cross-team frictions. And for the cross-cutting features, such as, for example, design system or authentication, you can spin up support teams that support everyone but do not own the product. But don't let your teams to be completely isolated from each other. Working only within their boundaries without sharing knowledge, tools or goals is not good for your teams. Organize regular guild meetings where they can focus on shared challenges and goals such as performance optimization, for example, and this will help your teams to stay aligned and learn. Now let's talk about microfrontends, when to use them and when not. You will probably hear the term microfrontends when your project will start scaling up. The basic idea is that each team doesn't just work on their own piece of code. They actually own a separate chunk of UI, living it in its own repo or package. It's kind of like microservices but for front-end. So when do they make sense? If your app is huge, like Spotify or Amazon, and different teams need to ship their features often and independently. Or if you've got a really clear boundaries between parts of your product, maybe even different branding and deployment setup. But you have to be mindful about downsides of microfrontends. They come with the complexity. Things like routing between the apps, managing shared state, and dependencies. All of this gets harder. You will also need to invest more in the consistency. You'll have to take care of design system, smooth shared navigation, and keeping the performance fast. So the key takeaway here is start with a well-organized modular code with clear boundaries and only go for microfrontends when you start feeling a real scaling pain. And not just because it's a shiny new buzzword. Next, let's talk about code ownership and reviews. Use owners files or code owners in GitHub to declare the responsibility for a repo, package, or folders. This way, the newly opened PR will automatically ping the right team for reviews. And of course, invest in a good review culture. Code reviews is not just about catching mistakes. It's about sharing knowledge, improving consistency, and onboarding new practices. Try to encourage your teammates to write helpful comments, not nitpicking. And for big decisions, maintain architecture decision records or ADRs. These documents capture the context and reasoning behind the major decisions you make for your product, such as adopting new library or splitting the code into microfrontends or maybe changing your state management approach. If you do that, your teammates will understand what and why you've done, even if a lot of time passed already. Now let's talk about onboarding tips for fast-moving teams. First of all, keep your documentation updated and visible. Use README files, wikis, and even inline code comments when it's appropriate. Make sure you practice shadowing and pairing sessions. It will help new hires to get hands-on context quickly. Foster a culture where asking questions is welcomed. And make sure your documentation is a living part of the repo, not just an afterthought. Host regular demos, lunch and learns, and other cross-team showcases to share the pain points, bottlenecks, and technical debt. Encourage sharing not just success stories, but also things that didn't work and learnings you've got from it. Another very important thing is team culture. Great teams are not just good at code, they are good at healthy debates, continuous learning, and supporting each other without a blame. So treat your bugs and incidents as opportunity to learn, not a moment to criticize. Make failures safe. Encourage transparent postmortems and how we can do better next time kind of thinking. Psychological safety enables developers to own their mistakes, share ideas, and innovate. Let's talk about the remote teams. It's not something rare nowadays that teams are spread across the world in different countries and time zones. So how do we effectively scale the remote teams? First of all, you have to be time zone aware. Make schedules explicit. Cluster collaboration hours so teams have enough overlap time to get together and make decisions, but also protect the focus time for deep work where people can focus without interruptions. Favor asynchronous communication by default. Use written updates, recorded demos, and shared documentation. Save live meetings for brainstorming, real-time decision-making, and relationship building. Don't waste everyone's time on things that can be done asynchronously. And what's especially important for the remote teams is to build connections intentionally. People in the remote teams can start feeling disconnected if you don't nurture their relationships. Plan small and low-pressure social meetups, coffee chats for smaller groups, or some guided new joiners intros. This will help people to feel the part of the team even if they are spread across continents. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching my video, and if you have something to share, leave the comment below the video. And in the next episode, we will talk about security and compliance in large React applications, so make sure you stay tuned and subscribe for my channel. And if you found this video useful, don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you.